All right. Good afternoon, everyone. How is everyone doing? मुझे तो बोला था कि बहुत एनर्जी है लोगों में, तो क्या सो रहे हो क्या? Yeah. Don't call me sir. That's the first thing I tell people. You can call me Deval. But good to see all of you. And this is what, day three? Day three. All right. Excellent. How's it been so far? Good. सब बैठे हैं, just good ही है, excellent नहीं है? All right. Anyways, so let's talk about a little bit on AI. But as thank you for the warm introduction, it is my pleasure to be here and be part of your journey as you get into graduate school, day three of your graduate school. I remember my journey many years ago. I won't tell you when, make me feel very old. So it was probably before you were born, but so long time ago. But that said, it's great to be here and give you a perspective on the various experiences I've had over the years and talk about some of the things that are going on in the domain of AI to help you. So and help you shape your career through the 2 years of university or graduate school, as well as afterwards as you take on your first jobs. Yeah, that sound interesting? Yeah. How many of you are engineers? Okay. All right. How many of you, what is this, maybe you can help, what is the second most popular undergraduate degree if it's not engineering? So, commerce. How many are BCom, BBA? All right. Okay. Anybody study economics? No? One or two people. All right. Good. Anyways, so the reason I talk about that is, nothing. That may be better. Can you guys hear me in the back? Yeah. All right. Good. So, as I was being introduced, I was just thinking that if I go back in time, I had the privilege of learning both economics and engineering in undergrad. So when I looked at graduate school, I worked for a bit in the middle. I had a unique perspective of bringing technology and business together from the beginning, right? So economics is what physics is to engineering. And obviously engineering is applied physics to the large extent, right? So that is the perspective I had. So a lot of my thinking in the last 25 plus years has been based on where technology and business come together, the convergence of technology and business. And I am happy to say that there has not been a better time than today to bring this together. And it is up to you, whether you did your BCom, BBA, it doesn't matter, right? That is history. Aage kya kar rahe ho? That is what matters, right? Whether you went to engineering school or not, not so relevant. But what do you do with what you have today is the very important thing. Over the next 2 years, what you're going to do afterwards as you take on your first job, what is it that you're going to do? Yeah, make sense, everyone? Yeah, let's keep it a little interactive. I'm no lecturer. I run companies, I don't give lectures. In the process, I have to give lectures, but that's not what I do. So, all right, so let's keep it going. So, all right. So this is what we're going to talk about for the next hour and a half. We are going to talk about a little bit about me. It's important for you to relate to me in terms of where I had my journey, what was my career experience, so that at least with some of you are thinking about a similar kind of experience or a different, doesn't matter, but at least you have a perspective. That's the first thing we'll talk about. The second thing we are going to talk about is about AI. And specifically why AI and what about AI that is relevant. And AI is a highly overutilized word. I'll talk about how to kind of deconstruct AI a little bit. But when I use AI, it means Gen AI. It is not AI. And how to execute AI. That's something which is not something that I can talk in an hour or two. It is something that you will learn through your classroom, you will learn through your personal experiences, etc. So that is the other piece which is important. So that we will not cover. Generally, the why, how, and what can give you 80% of what answers you're looking for, as long as you go deeper. All right. We'll talk about how AI is reshaping business, what Intech is doing, and the future jobs which are there. That is what was of interest for all of you. So that's how the discussion is going to go. All right. So we'll switch gears, talk a little bit about me, then we'll get into the AI part. So this is me. I talked about this briefly. So I had I have a degree in chemical engineering followed by an economics degree. Both were joint degree that I did in the US. And then, just like many of you, I decided to go to business school, Northwestern or Kellogg School of Business. Many of you may have heard of it. If not, you're definitely using one of my professor's textbooks, which you may or may not know, but his name is Philip Kotler. He's the marketing guru, and most of the textbooks, I don't know what edition he is, but he's almost, I think, late 80s, but he is a legend in marketing. In addition, I did my master's in technology management from Northwestern, which is also a highly ranked school in engineering. So that is the other thing I did, just to give you a perspective. In terms of my early jobs, my first job was in semiconductor engineering. So back in the day, most people didn't know what semiconductor engineering was in India, because a lot of that was happening, not a lot, everything was happening in US, Japan, and a little bit in Europe. So I'm talking 25, 30 years ago. So Silicon Valley, the silicon in Silicon Valley is because of semiconductors. So that was my first job, making semiconductors at nano, it is nano technology, so at angstrom or nanometer level. So that is what I did. Post that, I decided to do an MBA after 3 years of working, because the top business schools didn't take anybody who didn't have experience. So some of you have come straight, experience is important. So that's what I did. I did a job in strategy consulting. So it's like management consulting, helping technology companies build their strategy. So that is the other thing that I was focused on. Did that for a while and then moved on. So about 10 years or so, I worked in Silicon Valley in different capacities. The next gig was Virgin Mobile. You guys know the guy on the right? Yeah? Here, the lady. Do you know the guy who is on the right? No? You should know and at least read his book. So his name is Richard Branson. So Richard Branson is an adventurer as well as a philanthropist, as well as he had at one point more than 100 different businesses, and he was given knighthood by the British Queen at that time. So he has various different businesses. One of the businesses that I was affiliated with is called Virgin Mobile. So I helped set them as part of the kind of mid-level management in Virgin Mobile USA, and helped them on a journey from zero. We had zero revenue. We were figuring out what to do. We had zero revenue, and then we had about, by today's numbers, not adjusting for inflation, about 15,000 crores of revenue in a matter of 5 years. So it was a good ride, and we listed on the New York Stock Exchange. After that, I moved to India to help start Virgin Mobile in India. I was employee number 2. So, and we scaled Virgin Mobile in India. Eventually, it got merged with Tata. And I was with them for about 3 years in India. So that was my journey then. Moved on to a company which you would all know. If not, it's in your pocket one way or the other. So I can assure you that 60% of you have this, Reliance Jio. You guys know Jio? Yeah. You know Mukesh Bhai, so he was my big boss. So I worked as a president at Reliance Jio. I was the executive CEO of Gujarat, as well as I had a few different roles nationally for the launch of Jio. So we built the network where we did 1 million new customers a day, 1 million. So that meant in a matter of 100 days, we did 100 million odd customers, right? So, which is quite mammoth. Nobody in the history of telecom or the internet has done this kind of stuff. So much so that the valuations of many companies, including Flipkart back in the day when it got acquired by Walmart, was driven by the number of ads that were there because of Jio. Nothing to do, they were an internet company, but the minute you have internet consumption, then the top layer, they benefit from it. Consumers benefit from it, right? So that was the power of putting a foundation technology. I'm telling you this because there's a logic in the future. So I spent a little bit of time at Jio. I'm just going to make one small change. A little warm. All right, this is a little more comfortable. I don't like jackets. I didn't know what it was, so I got one. But the next piece that I was working on is a company called Brightstar. Brightstar is in telecom products and services owned by SoftBank Group. I don't know if you guys know SoftBank. If not, you should know that. It is the world's largest technology private equity firm based out of Japan. And so I was working for them as India MD. And we did about a good sized business at that time. So I was a managing director. And then I moved on to a company which is very different from everything I've done, from Silicon Valley to doing corporate to a family business here. So that is Intech Systems. That's where I've been for the last 4 years. So, so it's a little bit of mix of family business plus professional for me. So that is what it is. The difference is how, I was talking to Dr. Trivedi earlier, that what is important from a values perspective, how values, ethics, how that is important. So this is a value-driven organization as opposed to all going for profit, profit, profit. So we work, these are different perspectives that come to mind. All right, so with that said, we'll move a little bit on AI. So far, so good? Yeah? Interesting? No? Yes? All right, let's keep going. Oh, sorry, some personal philosophies. It's important, I'm here to share my experiences. So all of these things, my experiences across, 25 plus years, what are some of the things that guide me? And when I coach some of my new employees or now my children also, what are some of the philosophies for me? And these are timeless philosophies. I have not changed them for the last 10 years or so. The first one, very simple. Clarity is power. When we all, maybe in the school books or whatever, they say knowledge is power. That's useless. So forget that. You can chat GPT, whatever you want. Or even 10 years before, you could Google whatever you want. So that's, what is important is what you do with the knowledge, right? How can you join the dots in a way that it is clear, right? That is way more important than just saying that I have the knowledge. Knowledge, so many people have, but people don't make it ahead. Knowledge is the starting point, not the ending point. What is important is what you do with that information. It's not only knowledge, information. And information can be technical, it can be about competition, it can be about a new technology, it can be in a multitude of different ways. What do you do with that information? How do you kind of take it forward, right? So this is the first one. Second, philosophy. So this is slightly tweaked to what I do currently, but in any business, the number one thing is trust. Whatever they say, whatever. So any business which has stayed for 10, 20, 30 years, none of the businesses will survive if there's no trust. None. And if you have, and in this today's open age, if you're not transparent and trustworthy, you will get to the bottom very, very fast, right? So this is my philosophy here, that we are in the business of trust, like my current business, right? We happen to be in IT services. That is the secondary thing. It is not like we are in IT services. Trust is important when we go talk to our customers, when we go talk to our partners, etc. The third one, I'm sure you will have some strategy class here and there in the next semester or two. What and then you'll talk about vision. You'll talk about that. Vision alone is not good enough, right? So vision plus action is what is important, right? You can all sit with vision. What are you going to do with just vision? Important to get good vision. Important to get clarity. But action के बिना कुछ नहीं होता है. You have to act. You have to execute, right? So great vision with poor action doesn't give any results. An okay vision with great action will still give you good results. So the main point is vision plus action. It's not only about vision. All right? That's it. Three things, three messages. Now we are switching gears. Now I've talked about my background. I've talked about my personal mantras, if you would, and then we are going to talk about AI. So that is the main topic. I already said that we are living in very interesting times. This is one of the best times to be there. These are fundamental changes which are there. This kind of changes happen maybe once or twice in a lifetime, right? So this is as important as the internet or the 4G revolution, or and this is as fundamental as that. So who knows the Maslow's triangle? Who's here? Besides the first row. All right. Yes, go ahead.
Maslow gives five needs of hierarchy theory. First one is basic need. क्या था सर? बेसिक नीड्स हो गई हमारी, जैसे कि रोटी कपड़ा मकान, और फिर उसके बाद से सेकंड उसमें आता है हमारा थोड़ा सा क्या कहते हैं, हम फाइनेंशियली स्टेबल हो जाए, थोड़ी हेल्थ सर्विसेज वगैरह मिले। फिर उसके बाद थर्ड नीड पे आते हैं कि उसके बाद हमें थोड़ा सा एक बड़ा घर चाहिए या बड़ी गाड़ी चाहिए। उसके बाद फोर्थ में आते हैं हम कि हमारा पैसे हो चुका है तो हम थोड़ी सी चैरिटी वगैरह कर सकते हैं। और फिर फिफ्थ आता है सेल्फ एस्टीम नीड की, चैरिटी का भी मन कर गया है तो अब हम अपनी जैसे कि इनकम डोनेट वगैरह करते हैं तो वो सब।
ठीक है, more or less that's correct. What I want to put across, when we did marketing at Geo, in my office we had a fundamental need: roti, kapda, makan, Wi-Fi. Okay, that is how we ran our marketing, that is how we ran our product, that is how we ran our technology, right? So if you want to serve hundreds of millions of customers in less than 1 year, then how you do that's very different. What I'm trying to say, आज की तारीख में it is roti, kapda, makan or AI. आप समझो. So it is a fundamental need for young people like you. It is not something that somebody in Silicon Valley is doing. It is a fundamental. If you think of it as a fundamental thing for you to make progress, that is how you should think about it. So there are many other points I'm going to make, but please think about it as a fundamental piece. This is what Sundar is saying. I had a privilege to meet Satya just earlier this year in Delhi, and this is what Satya is saying. These are all wise people, happen to be of Indian origin, running global tech companies, and these are all what the what some of the consulting firms or research firms are saying, right? So the if we start on the right, in terms of wage premium for folks who have AI, very important for you, right? So as you graduate 2 years from now, it's important. It's the fastest skill change which is happening. 100% of the industries are using AI, 100%, many of them, and there are And then it is all about putting it all together, because now you months. Obviously, there are more people in the world. Obviously, there is more telecom networks, so it's a little bit easier, right? So, but it is what it is. So, so this is the story here. It's fast adoption is the main thing. Now we'll switch gears. I'm going to go from, because this is a business school. If I don't talk about business, what's the point, right? I'm not here to teach you psychology or technology, right? So it's about business. So what is enterprise AI? Well, how is this one think about enterprise AI? The foundation on the far right here, the bottom right rather. So it is the AI infrastructure. It is the cloud infrastructure. It is the cloud technology. It is the servers. It is the chips which are running in the back end. So we start there. Then you have you have the AI applications which are there. These are not Gen AI. I'm just repeating this, right? So some of it is there. You have deep learning. You have robotics, etc. And on top of it, you have industries which will use this infrastructure at the bottom, and then they allow you to go ahead and take the benefit of AI. So that is what this is. So, so what is, if you really look at it, enterprise data and AI can allow you to make smart decisions. 5G will allow you to do a lot of real-time processing with AI. So, and you have quality automation. Lots of things can be possible with AI. And there is no business which cannot benefit from AI. So the list is up here. Any business you give us, we will tell you how AI is going to help that. Any business, whether it's a law firm, accounting firm, manufacturing firm, very specialized firm in pharmaceutical discovery, whatever it is, AI is everywhere, and AI, the use cases are everywhere, and AI can help every industry. Good so far? Yeah? Going too fast, too slow, is it all right? Yeah, perfect. All right, good. Now, I think Dr. Trivedi was asking me earlier that how is AI changing businesses? And as I said, AI can change any business. Now we are going to the extent that we are not talking about AI changing a Microsoft or a Google. We are talking about AI changing a manufacturing firm on this road, and we are helping a few of them up and down this road, right? So how is AI changing a traditional business is the question. Some of this you may not have learned, so thank me for teaching you before your professors. So if we look at a traditional business, you have internal and external processes, left to right, top to bottom. Left to right, we have things which are everyday execution, and then certain decisions and certain activities are for strategic in nature. If you look through this, don't get too bogged down into this, but these are some of the things that one does. You talk about budgets, you have compliance, legal, daily operations, etc., which are everyday kind of things, and then you have things which are around capability development, about innovation, which are strategies, which are things that one executes on building a capability, etc. So that is what it is. Now, if you look through that, if you look at the ring, which is the orange ring here, what is AI enabling? So if I look at AI in traditional business, please keep that lens in picture. And if you look at something around business development, then it is about how can AI help in content and communication, producing the content faster. If I go on the exact opposite side, where it is about process optimization, can I automate the process? And it can be any process. It doesn't have to be manufacturing. It can be a service organization. Can I reduce the errors? Can I make the experience better? So all of this is possible through AI in a traditional industry. Take the internet out. It does not have to be Zepto or Zomato or whatever it is. It can be a traditional manufacturing business. So AI is there for every business, whether it is around personal productivity or business value. So it can help every business. That is the point here. It can help from a revenue optimization, a revenue growth cost optimization perspective, or it can help on a productivity standpoint on the left. So what is Intech doing? It is not about Intech, but I am using that as an example of how we are helping other businesses, so that when you can relate to that, when you look for your internship, when you graduate, what is it that can be there? We have a simple framework that we have developed where it is everybody knows the DNA, right? So yeah, if not, somebody didn't teach you well, but so it is how we can think of AI DNA for developing and executing AI transformation. So a company which is not today on AI or has limited AI use, how can we transform that organization into an AI driven organization where AI is used in every process. AI is used across the organization. The foundation of that is data. Fundamental thing, if you don't have data, if you don't have information in your brain, you can't go forward, right? You need processing as well as information or data, memory. So you need to have data and you need to process it, right? The next piece is process. It's a business process. You can have all the data, but you have a bad process, it's not going to work, right? The piece about AI, which this is about organization, okay? This is not the technology side of AI, this is the organization side of AI. So this is around the orchestration within the organization. And then if you have a perfect data, perfect process, but nobody uses it, what's the point, right? So it is about adoption. So adoption is important from a people standpoint. So people in an organization have to adopt it in order to make it successful. That is how this entire framework works. I won't go into so much detail, but the important pieces are that all three have to work together. It's not about one or the other. A lot of folks think about data ho gaya to AI ho gaya. Nahi, that is only the starting point. Data ho gaya, process ho gaya, nahi. Unless people are there. There are situations where the organization or the people are very enthusiastic and they may have limited data and process. It can work and they will then improve the process and then they will get the data. So then it can work. But if you go left to right, have everything on the left and the right is not there, it will not work. Yeah. Couple of things that we have done to give you an example. So a lot of firms in manufacturing and more so in the Trump era is very important to have export imports. So there are a lot of firms around it. So we have developed an entire process where it is around what is EXIM, is export import. So any company which is exporting and importing the same raw materials which they process and export, there are a bunch of benefits which are there. That entire process we have automated. We have used optical character recognition, OCR, as a technology. We have used that. We have used certain libraries for the various models, AI models, and then we are executing it, connecting it with their ERP systems, making sure that the entire process goes on fine. So this is happening. Another interesting case is a manufacturing company for their procurement of raw materials, which they procure raw materials like copper, aluminum, they make metals, they make alloys. So it is for an organization like that, where we have enabled their CFO to go out and do the procurement in a systematic fashion, as opposed to having everybody collect information. Now, Gen AI bots will collect the information, process it, and then allow the CFO to make decisions. What took 2 people 1 week to do, now one person does it in 4 hours. Okay, so you can understand 2 people, 8 times, so it took 40, 80 hours, now it's being done in 4 hours. So it's a 20x productivity right? So that is the kind of stuff in some of these tasks. This is happening. This has happened, and it's not happening. It is happening in, of all places, Orissa is where this is happening. Okay, so that's what I mean. It is happening in a manufacturing company in Orissa. Ahmedabad mein to ho hi sakta hai na. So this is Intech. This is what we do. Just a quick one slide on this. We are 300 plus folks. We do lots of international projects, and we are across various industries, manufacturing, professional services, etc. We are a top Microsoft partner. We do all things in the Microsoft ecosystem. All right. What are the thoughts? Anything, young lady? Thoughts? How is it going? समझ आ रहा है सब? Too fast? Too much? All right. What about you, lady in red? Yeah, good. All right. So now we'll switch to the future, right? You all came to MBA to eventually get a better job, right? If you had not gone, so that you can go on social media and brag with your friends कि मेरे को ये job मिला, मुझे पता है. So when we hire new people in the fresher, that is what we have to manage. That is what Shreyans and our team, they help. Is also like, hey, don't be too influenced by what is happening in social media. किसी को 25,000 रुपए ज़्यादा मिल रहा है तो कुछ नहीं. In the grand scheme of things, it's okay. So किसी को title अच्छा मिल गया तो ठीक है. और title it's okay. So what matters is what is the future. What matters is, are you really ready for that, right? It doesn't matter whether somebody here went to IIM Ahmedabad or somebody came here. It doesn't matter, right? It is what matters is what you do with it, right? How aggressive you are and how you're going to use what information and talent you've got to take it forward, and understanding what jobs exist in the future. And I'm not going to be right in predicting it. I feel I'll be mostly right, but if anybody tells you that they are going to be right, they're all bullshitting, because there is no right answer. Nobody knows. That's the right answer. Nobody knows. All right, we'll talk about, before we talk about the future of jobs, we'll talk about how work is going to change. There are 4 slides on that, and then we'll talk about the future of this. Okay? What we're going to talk about is Gen AI assistants and agents. So how the definitions are very clearly written here, but it's important to know agents. Anybody know what agents are? No? Yes? Okay. At least first time, as I said, I'm ahead of the professors. All right. So if we talk about Gen AI assistants, it works as your personal assistant. You give the instruction, right? It is your co-pilot, it is your co-captain. You give the instruction to ChatGPT, to Gemini, कि मेरे को ये करना है, I need to do this activity, action, whatever. You are giving the instruction, and it is doing its processing and giving you the answer or giving you the information. Yeah, that's what a Gen AI assistant does. Clear? What agents do? They are expert systems that can work autonomously. You don't have to keep on giving the same instruction. You're giving them rules. Okay? If it's like if massive if then else statement. So if these things happen, then please do this action. Or you look for these patterns, or you look for this information and execute the action. Right? Works on behalf of you. Works for you, works on behalf of you. Big difference. Right? Where you are trusting somebody, मेरे लिए काम कर दो. Yeah, you trust your friend, you trust your family member. It is like that. You do this work for me because I'm busy, or I have something else, or whatever the situation is. Yeah. You can't outsource learning, by the way. Don't do that. Nobody can do that for you, just to let you know. Yeah. All right. So this was a conversation that we had with Chief Marketing Officer of Microsoft. Okay, not Jared is his name, so highly accomplished person. Before we do that, we'll talk about this. I think I'll go to the next one. Yeah, this one. So what I was trying to tell you is the future of work. There are 3 phases. The first one is human with an AI assistant, right? I talked about what an AI assistant is, right? So this is the situation where you have these engines, you want summarizations, works with humans, human instructs, assistant recommends. Productivity helps in productivity. Execution is still human. Human is the front end. Clear? This is phase one. A lot of us are in phase one. Most of the world is in phase one. Most of the world. A lot of the world doesn't even know what it is, but till, okay, but then most of us are here. Phase two, human agent team, right? It is a team of human agents, right? So what it does is AI contributes to ideas, but human sets the directions, agents execute. So you have one person here and you have three agents in this diagram here. So these agents execute on your behalf. I gave you the example of procurement, right? So if the price on the London Stock Exchange is X, for copper, it is Y in Chicago, Z in India, and the overall copper prices are going up or down, please go ahead and execute. If the agent is executing on your behalf to procure goods and goods in this case, right? Raw materials to be precise. So that is how this works. Now, if we this is the phase two. If we go to phase three, where it is human-led, agent-operated. Okay, I'm talking a lot of things here, but just bear with me. This is the last slide here on this topic, where the humans are focused on strategy, innovation, leadership. A lot of the execution is outsourced, where you have multiple processes which are outsourced. I gave you the example of procurement. We can there are some things which cannot be, like manufacturing. Some of it you'll still have to do it. But let's say you wanted to do a lot of the customer service, to run it, to make it intelligent. So a lot of the agents can help you do that, right? So there are different business processes which can go through. Execution is primarily with AI, but it is guided by you. This we have not reached. Let me be clear. But this is around the corner. It is not going to happen 5 years from now. In some companies, it may happen sooner. Internet companies like a Zomato, Zapto, they will be first to adopt it because it is a little bit streamlined. You're not moving physical goods besides the driver delivering stuff, right? All of the back-end stuff can be automated. Okay? This is just to give you an example. Just a summary of all of this. Phase one, human with assistant. Phase two, human agents and teams, and then human-led agent operated. This is how AI is shaping today. And this is not my view. I'm repeating that. These are some experts' views, but I believe in this view. I believe that this is how AI is going to evolve. Now, the reason I went through this small theory for the last 5 minutes, in the end, आपका job क्या होने वाला है? That is why the question is, right? That is why it is important to understand some fundamentals of, do you want to be this person here, or this person, right? So at least have the thought in mind in the future. As I said, the timing nobody knows. It may be 2 years, it may be 5 years, but the world is going to move in a combination of phase two and phase three. Phase one is we are there, it will happen, it will continue, but jobs are going this side, phase two and phase three. So that gives you a foundation for you to think about how AI is shaping the way that we work. Now the question is, what is it that you want to do as an individual? Am I making sense? Yeah. Okay. So I'll give you just some examples. These are just high-level examples on what it is, right? So if you are in sales, where some of you may have worked, but you have leads coming in, then you have to follow up by emails and take them forward to the sales cycle so that somebody can go and talk to the potential customer and then get business for the company. And so a lot of the things here, these are being replaced, like lead qualification, follow-up emails, auto emails can be sent, proposal formatting. You have a standard proposal. You know what needs to be done. You know, okay, इसमें ये price होगा, इतना discount होगा, whatever the situation is. And then there is, instead of that, what is the value add? What is it that you can do? Is consultative selling, key account management, AI-assisted deal strategy. These are things that you, as potential professionals in the future, could do this stuff. Keep this in mind. Again, I cannot predict the timing, but this is going to happen. So this is the situation. So when you think about any of your classes, you have to think about what is it that you are, and any experience that you have. Think about how this is going to play out. ठीक है, HR professor साहब, ठीक है? All right. So, all right. Like my on HR, right? Screening resumes, interview scheduling, attendance tracking. This, you don't need people to do that. This is automated. You still need people to supervise at the highest level, but 90-95% of these activities, AI can do a much better job. But let me be clear, right? In order to give instruction to AI, you need to know that kya dena hai, right? You can be very good in programming, but you have to know the basics, right? So if you don't know the basics, so please focus on the basics. Basics ke bina kuch nahi hota hai. So in your next couple of years, please focus on the basics. Then you can think of this also. I'm not saying don't think of it, but there is no substitute for fundamental foundational work in whatever classes, whatever majors, if you're in marketing or finance or whatever majors you're going after. All right, I think we're coming to the end here. How do you prepare for the future? So three main points here, right? So which are here at the bottom. But before that, I think this is an important one. So if you think that you are getting a degree, MBA finance, MBA marketing, that's a view that people had 5 years ago. I think that's extinct. If you want to believe that view, ठीक है, करो. आपकी future की jobs में थोड़ा gap होगा. The finance domain or the marketing domain is the foundation. But think of this as the tools that you will get in the next 2 years. How is it going to help you make smarter decisions? How is it that you're going to question your professors? Honestly, I don't know, but somehow professors also need to be reskilled, right, in this world. Please push the professor that Chat GPT is telling me this. What are you saying? Okay, they have to learn. There's no option. So, so I think that how you make decisions, how you make smarter decisions, how you use AI to make decisions, that is going to be part. Companies are going to expect that. So I'm requesting you guys to push yourself to think about it this way. Coming back here. These are the three foundations: the cognitive fitness, human intelligence, AI literacy. Let me kind of talk about each of these, right? I'll talk about the second one here. So human intelligence, this piece, AI will get there someday. It's not going to get there immediately. If you focus on this in terms of how you build your emotional intelligence. I was just doing an interview earlier where people love to say that, hey, I can work from home. But at the end, you have to work. Agar aapko computer programming karna hai, it's fine. If you want to lead a team, it's the worst thing you can do. Worst. Right? Because you have to understand how humans operate. You understand how machines operate, forget how humans operate. Good luck. You can't succeed in a normal world. How humans operate happens in between meetings and coffee breaks and one-to-one conversations. It happens when you sit across the room and say, can I understand what's going on in your life? That is how humans operate. Right? That AI is not going to take. So please do not go for a work from home. If you want to be a leader, if you want to be a programmer, if you want to be an accountant, go for it, no problem. But if you want to be a leader, work from home is the worst thing you can do early in your career. When you have 20 years of experience, at that stage, it's a different thing. The leaders of today never worked from home in the past. Remember this statement, never. Cognitive fitness, this is important, right? It is cognitive fitness. It is not about logical. Logic stuff, AI can do a better job because a computer system works on logic. You give a logical instruction, processors work on logic, right? So in terms of the instructions given, the cognition in terms of making complex decisions like strategy, like saying how things interconnect with each other. Machines are getting there, but it's not all happening, right? The best chess player is a computer, not the case 10 years ago, because it is a logical instruction. The best strategist is a computer, no chance, right? So So that is important to have this cognitive fitness. And AI literacy, right? I've already started to give you some gyan right today, but make sure that it's important that how AI works, where it shouldn't, etc. So know these things. This is important for you as you think about. These are some things that this is not again what I've come up with. My colleagues has come up with in terms of what do's and don'ts you've got. So go beyond academics, interact with people. Yeah. Very few companies teach how to work with people, and I think it's the most important skill. Because if you know that and if you have AI, you are more or less sorted, right? So this is important. Work in teams, whatever other pieces are here, interact, learn together. So this is what I would recommend. This is another important piece as you think about yourself and you put your foundation. This is something called a T-shaped professional. So you can think of yourself as a T-shaped professional. New concept for you. The one axis, there are two axes. The one axis is build domain expertise. Whatever domain, pick your domain. It doesn't matter. As long as you are the best in the domain or one of the best, it doesn't matter. Right? So deep conceptual clarity. Go beyond theory and understand, identify problems which are there in whatever the situation. Right? So that is domain expertise. So you're going deep. But at the same time, some of the pieces that I mentioned in the previous slide, right? Go wide in some things. Go wide in the relative domains. Go deep in one domain. So it's around AI literacy, communication, human intelligence. Those are things where you can go wide, keep on learning. इसके सब classes नहीं है. You have to learn on your own a little bit, right? So, clear so far? The university that I did my MBA in Northwestern at Kellogg, they actually 6 years ago or 5 years ago now, they were the first university to give a degree MBAI, Master of Business Administration and Artificial Intelligence. So it was MBAI, 4 letters. So a lot of this stuff is also happening. It's not like it's not happening. Universities and graduate programs are also doing this. You can look it up if you would like. But so this is what depth and breadth. Depth in one vertical area, breadth in general AI and in some of the other domains will help you focus on that. You can't be specialized in many things. That's just not practical. Some people are, but you have to be like a genius level to make that happen. So. Okay, so I think we'll just summarize in terms of the key messages here. So it's not about being employable. All of you will be employable. All of you will find jobs. But at the same time, please understand what is going on in the world today. I don't live in the US, but today I have maybe 15 friends whose kids, daughters, sons are graduating either bachelor's or master's in the US, don't have jobs. Don't. And they are, using personal networking to find job for their kids, etc. Because a lot of those jobs have gone to AI. This is the reality of today. Right? So have these skills. So don't just be employable. Find a way to be valued, that you add a lot of value. A lot of the big companies have laid off, it's all in the news, laid off lots of entry level or low level employees. So this is all over the news. It is happening and it will happen. But make sure you have the skills which go beyond entry level. That is important. A lot of the execution level, as you look forward, when you are in your first job or when you're looking at job, if it's very execution focused, think about it, because some of those jobs will, it's only a matter of time before they go away. And focus on building a career which is a little bit more deep-rooted. You remember the T model, find a domain, go deep. So certain domains will continue to be there. So for a long time. Yesterday night, I had a call with a prospect in the US, somebody from New York, and they wanted an AI. You guys are too young for that, but they wanted the divorce rates in North America, US is like 50%. Okay, so they wanted an AI. They were developing they wanted our help to develop an AI engine for folks who are going through a divorce, right? Because you don't have so many friends in the US, so you want to have emotional counseling, and counseling with a therapist is very expensive. It's $200, $300 an hour. So, and to go through the entire journey, it was not only that, but an interesting thing that we said is that do you have a psychologist on staff to look at the whatever AI is doing? And they said they didn't, and that was we can develop the AI, but it is unless it is curated with an expert, it's not going to help. Right? So, giving you a case where when these kinds of situations are there, it is important to understand the depth. Okay, DNA, we spoke about this data process, people, yeah. So for an organization, remember this, that data is the starting point. Without people, you can't do anything. So process is in the middle. AI is here, as I said. As I explained, the fifth, the Maslow's hierarchy, where is AI? It is at the bottom. It's not at the top. Please get that sorted out, right? So AI is here for every industry. Some jobs will be replaced, and the choice is yours whether you embrace AI or not. If you don't, somebody else will. You may be left out. So I think that this is important. Please think of how this is there. And as I said, field of education is not as advanced. I'm telling in front of the academics, but that's the reality, right? So there's no point. So you will have to learn this a little bit on your own and push your professors to say, "Isme kya kaise AI use kar sakte?" All right. That's it. So, yes.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. First of all, thank you for providing me a great information about AI. Yes, sir, I want to know the AI कैसे आपने बोला कि सब में रिसर्च, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, हॉस्पिटल मैनेजमेंट, A to D.
बराबर.
I want to know, sir, how AI सर्विस, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस कैसे इंडियन आर्मी फोर्स को किस वेब सर्विस में AI प्रोवाइड करता है?
I want to give a first disclaimer. Okay, I don't know the answer. So exactly, but I can give give logic in terms of how it could be used here. So in terms of, let's say you have a terrain. You said army, not air force, so I'm being precise. So let's say a terrain is there, so the entire terrain can be mapped. You can run simulations on how somebody could progress in this terrain, how the Indian side could potentially progress. So those simulation scenarios can be run through AI, and it will tell you. It is like a chess thing, right? So chess is not too different. So that kind of second level strategy can be definitely managed through AI. The terms of any of the logical planning pieces in terms of how the logistics could be, if you're going with this, how the logistics going to happen, what is the implication, the if then else, if this happens then this is the scenario, and that could be simulated in a fast and a real time basis. That is where it can definitely help. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, the gentleman at the back. Yeah. I think we'll need some mics to float around. Yeah. Yes. What's your name? Please tell. Sorry? All right.
एक्चुअली मैं ये पूछना चाहता था, जब लेगेसी कंपनीज जो बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज होती हैं वो जो एआई को या मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी को अपने बिजनेस में इंट्रोड्यूस करती हैं, तो सबसे बड़ा उनके लिए चैलेंज क्या होता है?
उनके लिए चैलेंज सबसे बड़ा होता है कि अकॉर्डिंग टू मी उनके पास इंफॉर्मेशन, मैंने बोला डेटा, प्रोसेस एंड पीपल. नंबर वन चैलेंज इज पीपल. बिकॉज पीपल डोंट लाइक टू चेंज. मैं 10 साल से यही कर रहा हूँ, यही है सबसे अच्छा दुनिया में है, मेरे को ये बदलना नहीं है. सो द पीपल एंड द प्रोसेस, दीज आर द टू थिंग्स विच आर द हार्डेस्ट. सो But in order to make this happen, if the senior most management is clear कि बदलना है, so then it becomes a little bit easier. The people mindset has to change. We have to be open to accept the change, and as a result of that, the business process has to be changed, and the data information is needed. Without information, AI cannot progress. So there is legacy information. Let's say the company has been doing that for 10 years. Bringing that legacy information into AI, that's the first thing. Getting the people to kind of change their mindset. And then the third is making sure that the business process is updated to make sure AI can help drive the transformation. Yeah. Yeah. I will go with the lady here. Yeah. Yes.
By year. So here is a myth. AI takes agents' jobs. So how much it is?
So let's be a little bit clear. When I said agents, there are AI agents. There's a definition of an AI agent where they are automatically doing a job. That's what you're referring to. I'm assuming that, right? So let's say, and this is what we are executing in a company where they do a lot of tenders. Tenders, you know what a tender is? You have a government contract that you want, they will take it and say, please give us your tender, which is going to cost you 5 crores, 10 crores, whatever the. So we are automating that entire process through AI. That whose tender has come, how much is the tender, internally, what are the steps to make a tender document. 90 to 95% of that we are automating through AI agents. Then obviously you need a human intelligence to before submitting and making some fine tuning changes. But 80, 90 plus percent of the work is automated using AI agents. Yes.
Sir, and as your book suggests that digitalization multiplies the business. But sir, don't you think that it also divides the human capital not collectively but individually?
Let me understand your last part. Does it not divide the human capital? I didn't hear the last two, three words.
Not collectively but individually.
Not really. But what's your name? Priyanshu? Yeah, so Priyanshu, not really. See, the digitization makes something, it should, not every digitization effort is successful, but I'll keep that aside. But digitization helps automate certain elements of it. What it does is also helps get rid of the mundane stuff. So whatever the repeated activities are there, it helps get rid of those, because there are better, smarter ways of thousands of companies who are doing it in a specific way can learn from that and put it in a digitized workflow. So that is what it helps in. Now, if it is orchestrated properly, somebody as an individual, he or she can find something else to do, which is adds more value to the organization as opposed to doing that mechanical work. So that is how digitization can help. Yes. Yeah.
Hello. Just out of the question that if current AI could think like a human, then should it have a right like a human in business and corporate in decision making?
The answer is in your question, and let me explain. Should, right? Humans control what AI should do. AI does not control what AI should do, right? So if it is a choice, we will see situations where a lot, today in Silicon Valley, there's a company of two people and they have hundreds of agents doing the work and they are actually generating quite a bit of revenue. But that's a choice, right? They are not doing all the stuff. It is not about AI controlling humans. That situation could theoretically happen, but it's long way out. Yes, in the back. Yeah.
My question is, this AI sector is booming in every business, so there are some still sectors which can future, like our students can identify and work on the new startups and the things. So which are that sectors we currently can focus that other businesses are not focusing on that sector?
The good news is, yeah, AI can be applied in all the sectors. The bad news is you have to look harder to figure out how to apply it, right? So the answer is there are certain, so it is not about, we can't just say AI is being applied. To what level AI is applied? So that was a question. This is a very fast moving stuff. That was the question 1 year ago. Today, many companies are using AI, and many startups are also enabling companies to drive AI transformation. But at the same time, it is what specific niche is there. As I said, the companies which are slightly non-internet based, the first one are the internet or the very digital companies. Internet is the wrong word. Very digital companies, they will go through the maximum, the fastest AI adoption. Where you need certain things like software code. Right now, you have things like GitHub, where a lot of the code is there. So what used to entry level programming jobs, definitely not happening. Not happening. So I'm telling you what not to look at. But in areas like in specialized manufacturing, specialized services, those areas are not fully penetrated. So those, and you pick one vertical. They're coming back to the T shape. You look at one vertical, and it may be a micro vertical. It may be like packaging. It may be like very specific within steel. You can look at metallurgy. So you look at one vertical and see how AI can help in that use case. Broad AI use cases, कोई ना कोई तो कर ही रहा है. So that is what you learn in business school. So we learn comparative strategy. That is just the way it is, unfortunately. So
Okay, sir.
yes, the lady here. Yeah.
Hello, sir. As you had such a dynamic career, if our more traditional subjects like economics that we had studied, like that, is it relevant for our future technology and AI world, or we have to unlearn all that?
Okay. Is it helpful? The short answer is yes. Do you need to unlearn it? The answer is no. So it's a yes and no answer. So, and let me explain that. So it is not about unlearning it, it is about learning what is new. And I had given some examples on how you can use the foundations, and the principles of economics are not going to change. Principles of engineering and physics are not going to change. So, and accounting is not going to change, right? So learn that and see how you could apply it in an AI driven world. So I think it is the intersection of whatever, let's say economics or finance, and apply it with AI. So that is the addition that I would recommend, as opposed to saying, yes, if you keep on, no knowledge, let me make a bold statement, no knowledge is ever useless. No knowledge is ever useless. But how you apply knowledge will evolve over time. Right? So even what worked 2 years from now, what is working today, and what will work 5 years from now, how you apply the knowledge is very different. So that is where, instead of unlearning, continuous learning is very important, especially in this domain. Yeah. Yes. How are we doing on time, Dr. Trivedi? Very good. You tell me. I'm good. I'll take whatever. Yeah. No, I'm fine. It's
Hello,
okay.
sir. My name is Abhishek. I wanted to ask, like you said, we have to learn by ourselves. As of now, the situation is. So, what are the right tools we can learn basic fundamentals of AI? If we can implement in future to get proper success.
So yeah, I mean, just like there may be some things that you can learn here. There may be Coursera and other such platforms have lots of things. If you want to be slightly technical, you can look at some of the leading AI platforms and they have some trainings on that. So whatever those platforms are, it may be any of the cloud services which are there. Amazon has their service, Google has their service, Microsoft, etc. So you can learn on there. They have a learning platform. You could learn from that. Yeah, so I think that's about it.
Just one more question. Like I have a business idea in my mind, and I also have a slight roadmap for it. But what are the right tools to implement it in an efficient way? As you have also created your own business
Sure.
from AI.
It's a long answer. What I would say is use if you keep your business idea in mind and over the 2 years of courses, take many courses and then make projects around that business idea. So I personally did that many years ago when I had done a startup right out of MBA. And what I did is we had the idea in the third trimester. And for the rest of the summer and the 3 trimesters afterwards, we took one marketing class, one finance course. And we also used, we used the principle of leverage where we gave it to our friends. Okay, ये project karo, market research. Instead of one person doing it, let's have 5 people doing that market research. That is what we did, and it was very successful. So use your friends here.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I think interviewing them their parents and what they are facing by humanization and gesture. Does AI currently you can interview on the basis of your expression and all that there is for it? Is there any possibility that it
Yeah, I think the question is, can AI help you from your interview skills perspective? Answer is yes. I don't know the names of the programs that are do, but I know that they exist, and there will be more, and they'll get better. So, but definitely by the time you graduate, there will be some. It will that you can do a mock interview in front of a computer, and it will tell you that maybe do this different, do that differently. Surely, it will be there. Again, I don't know the name, but it exists.
For the students to join all the learning from today's session. We would now request you to give away 2 curious scholar badges. The ones you felt have been the best questions of the day.
All right. I think the last question here in terms of how you can use the business plan, not the last, second last. So, yeah, Abhishek. And I will give this other one to somebody who didn't give the question but gave a good answer. So, the Maslow's triangle. Yes. Thank you.
I would now request Dr. Jignesh Trivedi to come on the stage and present a memento to sir.
Sir, I will write it. I will write the certificate.
Okay, just give it to the lady.
Yes.
See.
ऐसे ही नहीं डाला उसको इस फॉलकॉम को देना है पकड़ लिया इसको पकड़ इसको रैप कर हाँ उसको बॉक्स में ये वाला ले लेना ये वाला हाँ देख डाल दे ये निकलना है ये को लेडी को देना है